111 years. That is the last time we were 1-1 going into the final game of a British and Irish Lions tour to South Africa. 1-1 is where we stand. The British and Irish Lions coming up trumps in game number 1 through a brilliant comeback in the second half. South Africa absolutely smashing the Springboks, the British and Irish Lions in game number 2 through the use of bomb squad. This is where it all comes down to. Once again, from Cape Town Stadium is where we find ourselves sharing this moment with you. This is One World Sports Radio Rugby, and let's get into it. Don't forget, just before I introduce my colleague for today's game, that you must include yourself in our social media family. Tweet us at OneWorldSR, like our page on Facebook, but most importantly, go and like and subscribe to this video and make sure you ring the bell, because we will be bringing you every single moment of Rugby Championship, as well as the South African tour to Sri Lanka, or the South African tour with Sri Lanka rather, ahead of the World T20 later in the year. My partner is Otto Simon. My name is Coach Dave. Good evening, Otto Simon. Welcome.
How are you, Coach?
Yes, very good. Thank you, sir.
This is an epic match. And before we get going, thank you to our producer, Mpo, at the last moment. That Guijo songs coming in there, giving some power to the Springboks, some more power. I've no doubt those guys would have been in the stands there, and it was a big thing in the 2019 World Cup final. This is a big moment, team, Dave, as we said on WhatsApp. And I also just want to say thank you to everybody listening. Thank you to the British and Irish Lions who have stuck through this. They could have easily jumped ship and gone back to Europe, to the safety there, but they stuck it out here amidst all the difficult stuff. And then just the words of Siya Kolisi last week, if we can bring a smile to 2 or 3 people's faces, we are happy. So that's where we are. One game to go, one each. This is so exciting. I can't wait.
Otto, just let's quickly touch base with, how things were in the first 2 games. The second half performances were key. Just maybe let's touch on that as to how important the second half is going to be here for both teams.
Yeah, tight test matches, that's always a big thing. It's how you perform the full 80 minutes. Those last 20 minutes, 15 minutes of the first half and the second half, and in the first half you set yourself up, sort of like the moving day on a test match. You set yourself up for that final push in the final 40. So there's 80 minutes to go in this Lions series between the Springboks and South Africa, and well done to the Springboks for setting it up so beautifully in that last 40 minutes in that previous game. With that, it actually started 5 minutes before the end of the first half last week, where that try was denied by Springboks just throwing their bodies underneath the ball. I don't remember. It was Siya Kolisi, the captain, who stopped that try just a few minutes before the first half ended, and that set everything up for the series. So this is just all or nothing. These British and Irish Lions guys, they also wait 4 years. We wait 12 years, but they are also up for it. This is not a weak team. It might have looked that way to the person who doesn't know rugby that well. This is an amazing Lions team. I think these guys would give New Zealand 20 or 30 points each match. So for the Springboks to come back the way they did, and yes, I said it, I think these guys, if they had toured New Zealand this year, they would have smashed them. And I'm very proud of the Springboks to be in a position where we actually have a decider. So I'm not sure if I'm the one who's offline here, but we see the teams walking out. we'll just wait for Dave to come back or for me to come back. So thank you very much for joining us wherever you are listening from. We see the British and Irish Lions now out on the pitch. It's Damian Dalende's 50th game. So I'll go ahead and see if I can go through the
Otto, let's
British
go
and
through
Irish.
the team news. Let's go through the team news, Otto, while we wait for Dave.
Okay, here we go. British and Irish Lions. Wyn Jones at number 1. Owens at 2. Furlong at 3. Itoje at 4. Alan Wyn Jones, the captain, at number 5. Courtney Laws at 6. Tim Curry at 7. Conan at 8. Price at 9. Bigger at 10. The wings, Duan van der Merwe and Adams. And then the midfield, Bandi Aki and Henshaw at 13, with Liam Williams coming into the team at 15 at the behest of almost all of the British and Irish Lions fans. So, Dave, Coach Dave, are we going to swap around and you do the South Africa 15 for us?
Absolutely. Stephen Kitsoff, a man who picked up 50 test caps last weekend, retains his place alongside Bongie Mbonambi and Frans Malherbe. Ibn Etzebeth is continuing in his position at 4. Lut Jache comes in because it means the man Franco Mostert goes out to the flank because of the injury to Peter Steff. Sia Kolisi remains at number 6 as captain. Jasper Wiese, a man who's a little bit more physical than his compatriot in Kwagga Smith retains his place from last week. Faf de Klerk is injured, and that means Kobus Reinach comes in. Andre Pollard is the man who retains the number 10 jersey. The wings are the same as they have been for this entire tour. Makazola Mapimpi and Cheslin Colby. The two wonderful centers, men who are probably the best in the world, Otto, Damien Dalenda and Lucanio Arm, but Dalenda getting his 50th test today, as well as Willie Leroux, who maintains his spot in the number 15 jersey. But Dalenda getting a debut in 2016 against Ireland. It's something that we've seen him, he's come under criticism in the past for his lack of passing, but he's really matured alongside Lucanio Arm into a world-class center.
Exactly. And it's not only the way he distributes the ball. Obviously, he's a crash ball center like we've seen over the years with South Africa, the past 5, 6, 7 years, with South Africa playing those go forward, straight line type of centers. He's worked on his distribution, but when you asked me about Dalende a few days ago, Coach Dave, for me, the biggest thing is his defense. Because he used to be a sort of a half-hearted defender where he would just drop his shoulder and act like he's tackling. But I haven't seen many people get past him in that green jersey at number 12. And that, to me, has been the biggest progression that he's made in the past few years as a Springbok inside center, getting solidity in that first channel. And helping to defend his fly-off, which I think is one of the reasons why he's got those 50 tests under his belt. Okay, so while we wait for Coach Dave to come back online, we watch the Springboks and the British and Irish Lions prepare for the anthems. And I'll go through the British and Irish Lions replacements. We've got Luke Cowan-Dickey at 16 for the hooker position. Vunipola and Sinclair, Beard and Simmons will be the British and Irish Lions version of the bomb squad. Colin Murray at number 21 will come in for Price at 9. Finn Russell and Elliot Daly. You think they'll play Finn Russell at 10 actually? Coach Dave?
I'd like to see that. With Owen Farrell missing out today, I think it would be nice to see a little bit of Finn Russell in that number 10 jersey. The Springbok substitutes, not too many changes, but there are some necessary changes. Marks Nyakane and Vincent Koch are your substitute front three. the man in Michael van Staden, who got a go in some earlier games in this short South African summer, is back in. Kwagga Smith is still on the bench for this week. Hershey Yankees, an absolute X-factor player, is going to be the backup scrum half for today. Mornay Steyn, a man who in 2009 kicked a 50-meter penalty in order to secure South Africa's win, is back into the squad. Good to see him back in. And Damian Willemse, a man who is slowly becoming the one that everyone goes to when it comes to replacement backs, is going to be the man for the job today. Mathieu Renault is the official for today. Remember, it was Nick Berry and then Ben O'Keefe for the first and second games, respectively. Today's game is going to be a key one. And Otto, you and I were discussing very briefly about how the language has been a challenge for some of our previous encounters with French referees in Jerome Garces and Romain Poit.
Yeah, and I'll still say it. I said it last week before we started. There was a lot of talk after the first test about the refereeing. There's only one way to take the referee out of the game, and that is to play the game within the laws. And unless your referee is Bryce Lawrence, you should be okay. So we'll we'll take it from there. I think it's a different style of play that the European referees are used to. That's a fact. That's a simple fact. They try to be impartial, and from the contact that I've had with referees, people who referee at lower levels and who are part of the Blue Bulls refereeing setup, you get evaluated after every game, and I think what the players and the fans want is just clarity and consistency. So let's go. We are ready for a kickoff, and you're gonna start us off there, Coach Dave, with the.
Dan Bigger with the ball in hand. Mathieu Renault is just making sure that he's got the final touches. South Africa are playing left to right. The British and Irish Lions are going to be playing right to left on our screens this afternoon. So don't forget, just before we get going, tweet us at OneWorldSR, like this YouTube video, and also subscribe. Ring the bell so that you know exactly when we are going to go live. We are excited. This is where it all comes down to. The whistle blows, and Dan Bigger is now about to, the whistle will blow in a few seconds rather, and Dan Bigger will get us underway. The whistle does go. Dan Bigger hoists this one high into the air, and it's going to be a South African lifting pod who will make sure they collect that one. Good bit of work by Franco Mostert early with Kobus Ranach right at the back, ready to go. He sets it now and finds Lut Diago, who carries it a little bit forward. The South African pack making sure that they're assisting where they can. There's Franco Mostert is waiting once again as cover, but box kick by Kobus Ranach as this one holds it halfway. Cheslin Colby collecting with Bonambi and Etzebeth in support. Ranach has got some front football here for him. Pollard through to Villileroux with a cross kick. He's looking for Makazole Mapimpi out wide on the left-hand side. Price is, it's not out, it's Price, but rather Dan Bigger is the man who's under pressure early. There's a little bit of a bumble, and Mauro Toja is able to pick it up. Turnover ball now for the British and Irish Lions. Wonderful opportunity now immediately for a man who's come into the squad, Ken Owens, to get some drive and carry, as he finds he's also new man to the squad who wants to try and stamp his authority here in the Wyn Jones, as well as Courtney Laws, who has the ball. Alan Wyn Jones, his almost namesake, now collects the ball on halfway, far side of the field. Work for the British and Irish Lions to see if they can extend this ruck, and possibly with a box kick from Ali Price. He does do that, so now it's hanging around the 10-meter mark. A little bit of a bumble from Andre Pollard, and the referee blows the whistle. So early penalty here, not as frenetic as we saw in last week's game, Otto. It was almost immediately handbags in the first 90 seconds of last week's game.
Yeah, I hope Springboks have been made aware of that. It's always a tactic of our opposition to try and get us to react to some foul play. But I think the British and Irish Lions also need to just suss out this referee and see where he's going to draw the line in terms of the handbag stuff and the pushing and shoving. But it's a penalty to the British and Irish Lions. They have a chance now to get on the board. And yeah, hopefully we don't see the Springboks react the way they did in the last test, because it was really awful to see that tactic work. It's always a tactic that's been used against us in many different sports as South Africans. You just put your finger up the nose of a South African prop, and there you have a huge fight. So let's see what Bigger does with this one.
Shanks it wide as the first opportunity to get points on the board is lost there for the British and Irish Lions, and now the South Africans will have some time to reset, as there's a random water carrier for the British and Irish Lions just lurking at the 5 meter line for the Springboks. This is a kickoff once again by Handré Pollard, lifting pod to find Maro Toje. He doesn't get it, goes over his head, and immediately Dwan van der Merwe smashed back by a lock pairing for South Africa. Now a bit of work here for the man number Tag Furlong, who's got to support Maro Toje, because Ali Price was at the bottom of that ruck. He finds his way out from the ruck. Ellen Wynne-Jones smashed by the South African 1-2, given the old 1-2 by Kitsoff and Mbonambi. This one thrown back to Dan Bigger, who lofts this high in the air, and another opportunity for South Africa to make sure they secure themselves under the high ball early. Pops out from Handré Pollard. Jasper Wiese loses one tackle, loses the second, and it looks like it's a bit of a high tackle immediately. Looks like a bit of a seatbelt tackle there from Bundy Aki, a man who's come into the squad and actually plays with Damien Delende, but yeah, it's not good enough there, and good to see Mathieu Renault getting on top of those high tackles early, Otto.
Yeah, the French referees tend to be a very technical style of refereeing because of the conditions in Europe. As we see Handré Pollard push this one over the far side touchline, Springboks will have the line out, but the Springboks are intense. They all look focused. They are going in, all guns blazing. It's amazing to see that. So Bundy Aki catching Jasper Wiese there around the neck, and that puts us back onto the British and Irish 10 meter.
Thrown out from Mbonambi, but he's chucked it skew, and unfortunately Mathieu Renault has said, well, sorry mate, you can't get away with that. It was immediately called, and now there's a wasted opportunity there for the Springboks, as they've thrown it. I mean, it's not even attempted to throw straight. He's thrown it straight to Franco Mostert at the front of the line out. So it'll be a British and Irish Lions scrum down the 10 meter mark, about 20 meters or so in from the touchline, and they're obviously in the British and Irish Lions half. An opportunity here for Ken Owens and Wynne-Jones, Otto, who didn't start last week's game or the game before. It's an opportunity for them to stamp their authority at scrum time, because the South Africans were so good in the previous game.
Yeah, let's see what happens to this scrum. First scrum of the final test. 12 years, 12 more years, and it's a solid scrum by both.
Massive push there from the British and Irish Lions. He's been asked to use it. Has Ali Price as the ball goes through the hands now. Brought down in the middle of the park is Bundy Aki by Kobus Ranach, who's trying to get away quickly. Ali Price looks for Courtney Laws. He finds him and immediately smashed by Siya Kolisi and Lut de Jager. Bit of a dummy run there as they try to upset the South African defense and catch them napping early, but no dice there. And immediately the South Africans are on top of it, as now we see Lut de Jager and Steven Kitsoff taking on the man who's trying to advance there. Wonderful bit of work by the South Africans here as they push the British and Irish Lions back near side of the park, about 10 meters in from the touchline. They try and switch direction. Courtney Laws is the man who smashed back. He's trying to get some support from Maro Toje, but really not happy there are the British and Irish Lions. Good bit of work here by Tag Furlong to extend the ruck and give the British and Irish Lions hopefully some go-ahead. Box kick immediately from Ali Price. It's a bad catch by Jasper Wiese, but thankfully for him, Willie Leroux's right there to make the catch, and Handré Pollard in the follow-on thumps that out over the far side touchline, just about the 10-meter mark as well, and for good measure runs into the referee, but says, sorry mate, accidental there.
Yeah, it's great intensity by the Springboks. They picked up where they left off last week, so let's see if the Lions can live with this and if they can lift their game, because the marker has been set now.
Owens to Courtney Laws. He finds his man. It's a happy one. They look to do a bit of a warm, but there's a kind of a mutual collapse as the number 7, Tom Curry, who's worked so hard in these first 2 games, is brought down just inside the 10-meter line. Good bit of work here by the South Africans. Not afraid to go into contact early. Jasper Wiese is the man at the bottom of this ruck, as Ali Price looks to lob that through a box kick to the South African half, but again, it's a dropped catch by Makazole Mapimpi, or this time Makazole Mapimpi, but good collection work there by Valileru. About 26 meters in from the far side touchline, Kobus Reinach at the back of a ruck. He's going to box kick here for sure, as you can almost see it coming when there's a forward hanging out to the right-hand side of the scrum half. Opportunity now for South Africa to try and shake the momentum as Ali Price collects that one and is immediately brought down by Makazole Mapimpi. They've been asked to use it, and it looks like the South Africans now have turnover ball. There was Ali Price at the bottom of the ruck, and nobody was trying to get the ball. And in the ensuing turnover ball, there was an advantage for the South Africans. Kobus Reinach crying because Mauro Toje is not rolling away, and as a result, South Africa have a penalty here. So 8 minutes gone, and it's still scoreless, but a great bit of work by Eben Etzebeth at the bottom of that ruck.
Yes, and the South Africans spotting that the ball was out of that ruck, coming around and picking it up. So the referee judging that to be a fair contest there by Etzebeth, that was very on the line there. Lots of times I've seen that called the other way, but Etzebeth picks that up between the shins of Alan Wynne-Jones, and it's a scrum to South Africa for the Lions taking the ball into the maul, taking the ball to ground, and Kobus Reinach will put into the scrum.
Absolutely. Good feed there from the Springboks. There's a collapsed scrum once again, so I think there's going to be a reset here. And immediately the British and Irish Lions are saying, it's definitely the Springboks. It wasn't us, but I think because of the mutual collapse. I think it's just, Otto, with what we've seen over the last couple of weeks is the packs here, big men trying to, get some go-ahead, and they've not always been able to do that because of the slippery nature of this field. Obviously, we know it's a purpose-built football field, but nevertheless, with the amount of rain that happens in the Western Cape winter, you're almost certain to get a kind of a softer undersurface. So they've shifted it slightly more infield and about 2.5 meters, further into the British and Irish Lions half here, as we hear the call of crouch, bind, and then eventually set as Reinach can feed this one. There's no real go-ahead. Good bit of shove there from both teams, and there's not much to go there. Jalinde gets the ball at the back of the scrum. Now with Reinach, he's looking for an opportunity here. He finds Franco Mostert, who breaks away at one tackle, but he's got Jasper Wiese in support. There's a good bit of work here by Reinach to get there quickly. Dummy throw by Handré Pollard. He does eventually give it away to Willie Leroux. There's a good bit of work here. Cheslin Colby at the back, who finds Pollard and Jasper Wiese. Now he's going to have to do a bit of work again as Kobus Reinach is back into the mix, but South Africa with the advantage from the knock-on. Lucanio Arm is breaking through. One tackle, two tackles. He's eventually brought down by Dan Bigger, about 10 meters short. The ball is immediately on to Bongia Manambi, but I think the referee is going to come back for the previous knock-on. So fortuitous for South Africa. We really had the go-ahead there, but Bongia Manambi kind of just overrunning that pass, Otto, and that means we'll go back for the penalty.
Now, good intent here by the Springboks. They're playing at a high pace. They are asking questions of the British and Irish Lions. That ball went from side to side over to the far side, 5 or 6 meters away from the British and Irish goal line. So the Springboks in support, piling in, putting the hurt on the Lions. The Springboks spreading the ball wide immediately, and the Lions just scrambling, trying to keep up. So we'll see how long the Springboks can keep this up, and if the British and Irish Lions eventually get the ball in hand, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But right now, Handré Pollard is going to no doubt line up for 3 points. So that's Dan Bigger down on the ground, receiving attention for the British and Irish Lions. That is a bad sign. That is not good. They've got Finn Russell on the bench, and that's it. Yeah. Liam Williams, no doubt, would probably be able to convince his captain that he can kick some goals. But if Bigger is out, that's a big deal.
And I think it's an important point you make, Otto, about the fact that he's getting some treatment on his knee, because remember, he's already coming into this with a little bit of a niggle. You can clearly see that he's got some tape on there. As we just look at Handré Pollard. He needs 6 points to reach 500 test points for South Africa. He's got 187 from 251. 75, 3/4 conversion rate. That's not bad. It's not bad. He, he'll join guys like Percy Montgomery as well as Mornay Steyn, Steyn. Francois Steyn is. So he's also, some good kickers in the South African history. But how good was this bit of work here by Lukhanyo to just do away with Dan Bigger? Thankfully, he gets the ankles there for Dan Bigger, gets the ankles of Lukhanyo but almost a certain South African try there. And it looks like it's really a shame. Dan Bigger is going to go off, and we're going to see the replacement make his way on the park. It's really a concern here for Lions fans because, both the 1997 series where we saw a drop goal was the difference there, and in this case, in 2009, it was a penalty that changed the game, and so we see Finn Russell coming on the park for the man himself, Dan Bigger. So it's going to be a way in which South Africans will hope to put pressure on these lines as Handré Pollard lines up for 3 points. Otto, over to you.
Well, 11 minutes gone, scoreless, and Handré Pollard steps forward with the right foot now, strikes it, and it is over.
Through the poles. Yes.
The Springboks have 3 points. The British and Irish Lions have 0. But on the other hand, Coach Dave, the hunger of Finn Russell could be a thing. This is a quality replacement for Bigger. Let's see how they go as the British and Irish Lions kick off once again. Nice hold up there by the Springboks. The pod catching the ball there. Kobus Ranach is in control at the base of the ruck here on the Springbok 22. Itzebet takes it up about 20 meters in from the far side touchline, 5 meters outside the Springbok 22, and Kobus Ranach sends it into the box kick area there. Comes down just outside the 10-meter line of the British and Irish Lions, where Liam Williams takes it up over the halfway line, but he's smashed back in a magnificent tackle. And the Springboks look like they have control of the ball, but the referee says there was obstruction, and it's a penalty to the British and Irish Lions. 12 meters in from the far side touchline, 2 meters in from the Springbok half, and Finn Russell, with his first touch, will send this over the touchline. They will form a line-out. Dan Bigger is definitely not coming back onto the field. He's limping off into the tunnel now. We wish him well. Hopefully he gets better soon. And Jasper Wiese sending Liam Williams right back all the way to Wales with that tackle. That was a proper smash. So well done, Jasper.
Absolutely. To quote the Xhosa commentators from the second game where we saw Lukhanyo absolutely smash a Lions player. He made a wrong turn there, my friends. He made a wrong turn. He came around the corner and, my word, Jasper Wiese smashed him. We're just seeing Franco Mostert I'm sure he'll get a bit of treatment here because he's pouring with blood from his face. There's a lot of blood from a lot of the players. Alan Wynne-Jones just wiping away some stuff. And we just saw some other guys making sure that they are blood-free. Obviously, the idea of this is it's going to be a physical encounter. So a lot of these guys are going to leave everything on the park. So it's important that they just absolutely, hold nothing back.
Yeah, 67 minutes to go. 13 minutes gone. And the line-out will be formed. The British and Irish Lions will put this in off the far side touchline. And let's just check the position there for you. Kwagga Smith is coming on. I assume that would be for Mostert. Yes, Mostert is off. Yeah. Bloodbin. He's leaking like a sieve from his face. He's got a knock to the top of his nose. So he's off there probably for a ding-dong test as well. The Lions put this in and it's no separation there. The referee doesn't like the formation of the lineup by the Springboks. Free kick for the British and Irish Lions. Far side, 8 or 9 meters in from the far side touchline. 13 minutes gone, and it's just about 10, 12 meters outside the Springbok 22. So the British and Irish Lions have taken the scrum option. Indeed, yes, Coach Dave. And they have got their back line lined up to the near side for an attacking move here. So this is the most important scrum so far for the Springboks. If they've been sandbagging in those first few scrums, this is where they need to step it up. The Springbok front row, they engage now.
Massive
And
that was a massive hit. Whoa.
it's a very stable scrum by both sides. There's really nothing in it. Kobus Reinach and both front rows go down. The referee agrees, and it goes the same way. A reset scrum. And that is Vincent Koch, Mbonambi and Malherbe for the Springboks. Wyn Jones, Owens and Furlong for the Lions. Really, this is where the Springboks got the upper hand last week. Both teams know this is crucial. So I think both of them will be happy. And we see not
Like
necessarily the ground.
down there first.
Yeah, elbow on the ground there, but the referee, as I mentioned before, they used the French referees are used to these kinds of conditions where the footing isn't stable, so they're willing to have more resets than not. So the Lions putting it into the scrum on the near side, and the scrum goes down once again, and the referee penalizes the Springboks this time for a knee on the ground by Frans Malherbe, says the referee. By number 1, he says. So he got the call from the far side touchline there, and it's a penalty to the Lions, about 10 meters out of the Springbok 22, 10 meters in from the far side touchline, as the British and Irish Lions play from right to left on our screen here, and they will no doubt try and equalize here. The Springboks leading 3-0. Yeah, Stephen Kitsoff losing his bind and folding in there. So that is a penalty there. Chalk one up to Jones, to Wyn Jones.
You know the thing, Otto, is that once you get a slight forward momentum, you lift your foot to get a new footing so that you get forward momentum. But the moment you lift that foot, your opposition waits and hammers you right in that moment, and so you're immediately off balance, and then that's when things can collapse. Finn Russell, 4 from 4 so far in the series, hasn't missed yet. His partner Dan Bigger's already missed, but let's see how he goes here.
Finn Russell sends this one straight through the middle of the poles at the Cape Town Stadium, and the scores are level with 16 minutes exactly now gone. 3 points all to the Springboks and the British and Irish Lions. Small steps, Coach Dave, when you are scrumming. The only guy who lifts up his foot is the hooker. As Pollard sends this one high into the near side touchline area, 12 meters in from the near side touchline, just outside the British and Irish Lions 22, and they come away with it. Alan Wyn Jones breaks through, and he passes it out to Wyn Jones, who now set the ruck, and Finn Russell sends it with the cross kick out to the wing there on the far side. Good tackle there from the Springboks. Duan van der Merwe now coming in. They're on the halfway line of the British and Irish Lions on the far side of the field. They come back inside to the near side of the field. Ruck set again. This one inside pass, and they're over the 10-meter line now, the British and Irish Lions. This one from Finn Russell is passed inside to the forwards once again. They're well over the 10-meter line now. They've picked up the intensity themselves. Finn Russell is caught in possession, and it's advantage to the Lions for a high tackle as they send this one to the far side now into the middle of the field over the 10-meter line, nearing the 22-meter line of the Springboks. Itoje takes it down, and this time it's Duan van der Merwe running across the face of the defense, but he's brought down, and I'm sure that's a legal turnover there by the Springboks, but the referee will come back for the high tackle, and that will be about 20 meters in from the near side touchline, about 12 meters outside the Springboks 22, and no doubt the Lions will take another shot at goal here. And so we see the same intensity from the Lions as we did from the Springboks. They've also got 80 minutes to go. They need to wait 4 years for another chance, but all of these players need 12 years to wait for another repeat of this fixture. And so the British and Irish Lions are lekker windgat. They are very confident. They are sending this ball over the touchline on the near side, and they will set up the line out about 6 or 8 meters outside the Springbok try line.
Yeah, it was a fantastic bit of work there from the British and Irish Lions. A couple of offloads from the lines forwards just to make sure that they get the go ahead there and try and upset the Springbok defense. But how good was Eben Etzebeth with a number of tackles? One where he absolutely smashed. Looks like Marcus van Staden rather is getting ready to come onto the park as we see Siamtanda Kolisi getting some treatment on his hand. The skipper himself, I don't think he'll want to go off unless it's in a body bag. This man puts his line and he puts everything on the line for the Springboks, so he won't want to come off without without making sure that he's given his everything. A massive game last weekend, Otto, for the Springbok captain, and I'm sure he'll want to do the same today.
Yeah, that try save alone, as we see the Lions now getting ready. They go short to the front of the line out to Itoje. They set them all. It's on 6 meters outside the Springbok try line, about 4 meters in from the near side touch line here. And the maul is going forward, and the Lions will score. That is the first try of the third test, and it will be, no doubt, the hooker. Ken Owens at the back of that maul, in control all the way, and the Springboks just disintegrating there in the face of that Lions maul. Excellent set there by the Lions, immediately set. You could literally put a little picnic blanket over all 8 forwards there. So as my coaches used to say, that's what you want. And we see a replay here. The Springboks just have 3 or 4 guys behind the line of attack of that maul, and then the Lions just breaking the damn wall there, and they go through for the first try of the third test. Good work there by the British and Irish Lions. Excellent forward play.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one that was well rehearsed and well executed. It's a training ground move. It's one that caught the Springboks unaware. They were able to contain it, but the moment the British and Irish Lions shifted the goalposts, so to speak, it was almost an inevitability because they also had the penalty advantage as well. So they weren't going to miss out there. 8 points to 3, 19 and a half minutes.
So we see Finn Russell lining up the conversion now from about 4 or 5 meters in from the near side touch line. So it's a difficult kick. It wasn't ideal position for the goal kicker here at the Cape Town Stadium. Yeah, it's right on the 5 meter line outside the 22. He comes forward, strikes it now. Another one sailing through the middle by Finn Russell. Faultless goal kicking so far by the Scotsman. And the British and Irish Lions are 10-3 ahead.
Ooh. Yeah, nervous times for South Africa as they concede on on the try line there on the 21st minute. But kickoff once again. Just quick some comments rather from YouTube. So don't forget to like and subscribe. So Lindile Bekicha saying, "Hey guys, thanks again for live broadcast." Straza says, "Go the box, smash those Lionesses." And I don't care media saying time of the game 20 minutes and 44 seconds as the kick from the back of the British and Irish Lions ruck is the man is cleared away, but the guilty party there for the South Africans is Franco Mostert, who is guilty, it seems, of being offside, and so South Africa now having to contend with a Finn Russell rather kicking that one deep into the South African territory.
The line-out set just about on the 10 meter line. Obstruction there, says the referee. After the kickoff, the Lions Price sent that ball into the tram lines, and a good chase there by the Lions, and they have the line out.
Opportunity to get forward momentum once again. They go immediately to Courtney Laws to find Finn Russell. A great bit of work there by Bundy Aki as he breaks through the South African defense. Now an opportunity for Ali Price to try and switch things up. Maul is called as they start on the 10 meter line. South Africa having to work hard to snuff out this opportunity. There's a call of use it once. The referee saying it's free, and great bit of work there for the Springboks. Ali Price, the man who's remonstrating with the referee to say, "Mathieu, please, we can't get it." But it is the man himself, the pusher and the shover, the captain of the handbag team, so to speak. It's Eben Etzebeth who's done the hard work there, Otto.
Yeah, he came through the middle of the ruck there, no problem at all. Not swimming along the side, just crashed himself through that maul. Some questions asked of the referee. Now he's sending the water people back. So it's a scrum to South Africa. Great maul defense there by the Springboks, by Eben Etzebeth. Not swimming, just crashing through the middle of that maul. And the Springboks will have the put in. And sigh of relief here, because after that first 10 minutes, the British and Irish Lions have come right back and said, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a ebb and flow first half here. 23rd minute now. Springboks have the feed for this scrum. It's going to be an opportunity to maybe just change the way the territory has been playing over the last little bit. British and Irish Lions being on top. The scrum has collapsed, but Renault is saying use it. Sniper on the outside is Kobus Reinach. He chips it through, but immediately kicks it out, and that will be a British and Irish Lions kick on the halfway line. I'm not quite sure what he was hoping to do there, Otto, because he only had on his right-hand side Cheslin Colby. He just kind of kicked it out. There was not much there.
No, it was a hockey move, a soccer defense move. He kicked it into a British and Irish Lions, and the Springboks will have the throw on the halfway line.
Absolutely. Bongia Manambi with the opportunity to throw. He finds Loot Diach. A great bit of work there by the South African lock. They immediately get forward momentum, do the Springboks. They run over the British and Irish Lions captain in Alan Wynne-Jones, who's lying on the floor, but the ref saying, not a problem. Kobus Reinach now has an opportunity. Penalty advantage for the Springboks coming here. Kobus Reinach finds Franco Mostert, who gets over the halfway line and gets some forward momentum for the Springboks. Again, Kobus Reinach is saying to the referee, come on, they're intentionally holding it up when we have a when we have a bit of go forward. So they're going to go back for that previous bit of misbehavior from the British and Irish Lions, but good to see some South Africa progress, Otto.
Yes, some relief for the Boks. They will have the kick on the halfway line. Andre Pollard with the left foot sends it sailing over the near side touchline. The referee on the near side says not as far as you'd like, Andre Pollard. So the line out will be set somewhere between the 10 and 22 meter line, and there will be 15 minutes to play, 24 and a half minutes, 24 and some bit minutes gone in the first half. Yep.
Lotiaga with the maul this time once again for the Springboks. Ball finding its way through to Bongia Manambi. It's a good throw by the South African hooker. They can't get some forward momentum. The opportunity is there for the Springboks. There's no call of use it yet, but it's kind of come to not much as it forms a ruck just over the 10-meter line inside the British and Irish Lions half. Cheslin Colby's got some support there, but they go to Kitsoff through Reinach. And there's an opportunity here for South Africa to solidify their position. An opportunity, well, once again, ball going through Andre Pollard, who lofts this high in the air, probably testing to see whether or not the British and Irish Lions will be able to catch it and get a mark. Williams, in the end, does make the catch, but he's not inside his 15, so he's not able to call for mark. And now an opportunity for the British and Irish Lions to try and create something from inside their own 22. There's a lot of work that they're going to need to do here, rather. But now we see Ali Price setting up for a box kick. He does. It's charged down by Eben Etzebeth, and that's going to go out on the far side in between the 22 and the try line. It'll be a British and Irish Lions throw, but wonderful bit of work there from the Springboks to disrupt that play.
Pressure by Eben Etzebeth, using his length there and getting Ali Price off his game. Getting in between the ball and the touchline on the far side was Eben Etzebeth with that charge down. Great work. Now the Springboks need to contest this line out.
Absolutely. Ken Owens with a lot of work to do here. The referee again is saying that the Springboks are encouraging, so it'll be a free kick to them as we see a clearance kick here from Finn Russell, who lobs this deep into the Springbok half as now Makazole Mapimpi does the cleanup work. Willie Leroux through to Makazole Mapimpi. So there, you have it, no, you have it. So as the South Africans get over the 10-meter line, Reinach throws it out left to Handré Pollard, who kicks this ball high into the air for the South Africans to contest. They don't. Immediately smashed is Finn Russell, and he passes it on as the British and Irish Lions try and throw it out wide. Ali Price does a bit of cleanup work. There's Courtney Laws is brought back in field. It almost looks like the whistle is blown, but it hasn't actually blown the way they're playing. Ali Price now looking for a bit of forward momentum here. Finn Russell throwing it through the hands, finding Bandiaki. On the outside is Duan van der Merwe on the near side of the park. He cuts back inside. He breaks through a number of tackles, but eventually is brought down by Lucanio Arm in the South Africans' half, just over the 10-meter line, going forward, right to left. Bandi Aki with the ball. He is brought down by Eben Etzebeth as Eddie Price looks to get quick ball to throw it to the far side of the park to try and stretch out this box defense. It's going to be a lot of hard work as they head up to the half-hour mark. Finn Russell, who finds Courtney Laws, brought down on the 10-meter line. Good bit of work here by the South Africans, but not rolling away. And so the British and Irish Lions have an opportunity to go wide here. Williams just up short of the 22-meter line as they have the penalty advantage. Ali Price looking for Mauro Toje. Does find it. Quick offload to Ken Owens and then on to Wyn Jones, who's being held up here. And the whistle is blown by Mathieu Rano to bring the play back to where the penalty happened. Thankfully for the South Africans, because the British and Irish Lions were there, well in the South African in the South African half, just outside the 22, and now this brings it back to about the 10-meter mark, Otto. So a bit of reprieve there for the South Africans.
Yeah, Liam Williams looking dangerous there in broken play for the British and Irish Lions. Duan van der Merwe following his example, and the Lions stretching the Springbok defense from one side to the other, making good progress across the gain line from their own 10-meter line, and now they are inside 5 meters out from the Springbok try line, and they have the throw. 28 minutes gone.
On the 5-meter mark, or rather 6-meter mark, going to Mauro Toje. There's going to be a more coming here. South Africa have got to make sure that they commit enough men that they can counter it, and they do, as there's a bit of a counter shove here by the British and Irish Lions. Guys have got to be careful that they're not coming around the outside. There's a good bit of forward momentum here. There's a penalty given to the Springboks, as they're saying number 7 of the British and Irish Lions, Tom Curry, has contravene the laws. And again, Alan Wynne-Jones is immediately in the face of the French referee. We saw that, Otto, earlier in this game where Siya Kolisi is saying, come on, hurry up, let's get on with the game. You're wasting time, Alan. You're in the wrong. Just say, okay, cool, I'll query it later. But just having a look at Tom Curry, their man who started at flank against South Africa in the Rugby World Cup final, but some opportunities for the Springboks to clear their lines as Handré Pollard kicks this out halfway between 22 and 10-meter line of their own half, and they'll also have the kick. Just Otto, tell us what's happening there with that maul.
Yeah, so Tom Curry taking Springbok players out before they join the maul. So obstruction there by him. So he went and disconnected from the maul, which was going really well for the Lions, and then just taking out 3 Springbok players who were trying to rejoin the maul. So he got penalized for that. So that's good to see. Technicality there, but a very good technical penalty there from the referee, I would say. I've seen that a lot, and it's very frustrating as a defensive player when you're being held up, when you're being impeded with, and you're nowhere near the ball. So the Lions still with that intensity that they've been playing with, answering the intensity of the Springboks, and game on, Coach Dave.
Absolutely. Finn Russell, a man that we've spoken a lot about since he's come onto the park, is absolutely, I said he's under pressure here, but you said he's going to have an opportunity to spend some considerable amount of time on the park and make sure he puts his hand up. He's got 55 test caps for Scotland, but like you said, he's absolutely smashed it early on here. Half an hour gone as we call the last little bit of this line-out. South African opportunity. They don't go to anyone. It falls unkindly for the Springbok, but there's a penalty here for the Springboks. Courtney Laws, the guilty man there, but Otto, what happened? Because nobody jumped, and Bongia Manambi threw it right over the top.
Yeah, Bonge also wants to know what the hell happened there, guys. It was a line out set after the penalty, and Bonge and Bonambi threw to nobody. Three Lions players were converging on the ball, and Courtney Laws knocked it on, thankfully for the Springboks, and they have the scrum 15 meters in from the near side touchline, about 5 meters outside their own 22. So an opportunity here for the Springboks to get out of their own half if they can make the scrum work. The scrums have been really tight contest so far. Nobody getting the upper hand. Let's see. Oh no, it's the Lions that will have the put in here for some reason, which I'm not entirely sure about. So there must have been a knock on then from the line out for the Springboks as the ball went sailing over everybody's head. And then the Lions knocked it on, and so now it's a scrum to the Lions, and they're in a good attacking position here. So let's see if the Boks can get out of this.
I'm not exactly sure what happened there, Otto, because he pointed for a Springbok penalty, and then suddenly the British and Irish Lions have the turnover ball. Nevertheless, an opportunity for the British and Irish Lions here to actually step into this game and really put pressure on the Boks going into halftime.
Absolutely, and it's held at the back of the scrum here. The Lions trying to get the scrum penalty, but the Boks scrum solid as it goes out to Price now into the back line, and it's tackled there in the middle of the field, just outside the 22 of the Springboks, going across the far side of the field. Alan Wynne-Jones and Mario Toje breaks through the line, is over the 22, is 10 meters out from the Springbok try line, and they get the penalty to the Springboks for holding on. Mario Toje broke away from all his friends, and he was isolated. He ran away from his support like a Springbok usually does, and everybody was surprised that he broke the line, including his own teammates. So Andre Pollard has the opportunity to clear the line here for the Boks. Phew! In the middle of the park, he puts this one out over the far side touch line. Let's see where the flags go up. And it's going to be a Springbok put into the line out. Mario Itoje just ran straight over Cheslin Colby, almost. Cheslin Colby just hanging onto his bootlaces, literally.
Can we raise a glass to Cheslin Colby, a man who took on a lock as a wing? He's probably the shortest man on the park, and he took on probably one of the taller guys on the park, and he's, like you said, he made sure that he hung onto his bootlaces there. He wasn't going to get away. British and Irish Lions guilty of a free kick there as they encroached there, as the Springboks have been. But to Cheslin Colby, because my word, that was a fantastic tackle. Almost looked like, if you remember John Olomu in the 95 World Cup, who was notorious for running over guys. But yeah, to Cheslin.
High up and under here, collected by the Springboks, 8 or 9 meters in from the far side touchline, but it's a knock on by Kobus Reinach as he went forward with that movement after they collected the ball from the high up and under off the free kick from that line out. But it's a scrum to the Lions, and it's about 8 meters in from the far side touchline inside Lions territory. So the Springboks at last are out of their half. In this first half, it is 6 minutes to go, 6.5 minutes to go. The Lions have 10, the Springboks have 3. So that is the score, 3-10 to the Lions, and it will be a scrum to the Lions. This is a proper test match so far. That more try by the Lions, the difference between the teams.
Absolutely, just over the half-hour mark, and we're just seeing some treatment to Adams, because he went up for the kick, it popped out, and then Kobus Reinach was there sniping to make sure that he collected it, but knocking on there, which means there's going to be a little bit of a delay here as everybody gets some treatment and some water and an opportunity for them to make sure that they are set and ready for the scrum. Otto, both scrums, both scrummaging outfits have been kind of evenly matched, and the turf is the one that's been kind of the gremlin in the whole system. So I'm really keen to see how in the second half with both teams how they're able to utilize their benches and how that's going to play out in the physical side of the game, both scrumming and mauling.
Now it's going to be very interesting but both teams are throwing absolutely everything at this. I mean, this is just unbelievable. The scrum is reset here by the referee before the call for crouch is called, or just after the crouch is called. So the referee is not happy with the movement. He's trying to talk to the two front rows. And I'm sorry for you, Mr. Ref. The red mist has descended. These guys just want to get in there and mush each other to bits. So let's see how this one goes. Very even battle in the scrum so far. The second shove not working for either team. They're set now. And the Lions put the ball into the scrum. The Springboks getting some kind of push forward. And they get the penalty. 15 meters from the far side touchline and just outside the 22 of the Lions. And that is a scrum penalty for South Africa. I think that's the first one of the game for the Springboks. The Lions walking back and grimacing. The Lions prop there going down onto his haunches. Wyn Jones, stalwart for the Lions on this tour. And that's a good sign for the Boks. We see Jock Ninauber and Rassie Erasmus. Jock Ninauber prancing from one leg to the other, and Rassie Erasmus shouting instructions to somebody there. He's supposed to be a water boy, but obviously he's not. So that's
coming from Johan van Sailors. Everything kind of sets up. He says, back this week, guys. Struggled to get you. Don't worry, but welcome back, Johan. South Africa, he's asking how the Boks are doing so far. You know, South Africa started well, but have been on the back foot for about 20 or so minutes. But
Andre Pollard strikes this one, and it sails through the poles, and that is 10 points to the British and Irish Lions, and 6 points now to South Africa. And there is 3 minutes just about to go. I'm not sure. They've just made my font smaller here. 4 minutes.
3:45 to be technical. But yeah, an opportunity here for South Africa to get some forward going momentum into the second half.
Finn Russell kicks off. It's collected by South Africa inside the 22. They go over the 22 on the far side touchline, and they get penalized by the referee. And that will be a penalty to the Lions. 15 meters in from the far side touchline, 5 or so meters outside the 22, as I think that was Dialende, it looked like, that went in there and got a bit isolated, and Finn Russell sends this one over the far side touchline for a line-out set by the British and Irish Lions. So they are feeling very bullish there in Cape Town. Yeah, Dialende just ran into a few Lions players there who held him up. It was enough for the referee to decide that there was some holding on there. So it is the Lions putting it into the line-out, but they lose the ball, and it's Bongi Mbonambi running around onto his own 5-meter line. The ruck is set, and there was a knock-on by the Springboks. The referee signals, looks like he signaled that they took that into an irretrievable position, rather, and it's a scrum now to the Lions on the 5-meter line of the Springboks. So some really interesting calls here by the referee, all of them in line with what you'd expect from the rule book, but not what I would expect from what I see on the field. So Bongi Mbonambi goes running around the line out. He gets tackled, and then for some reason the referee gives the scrum to the Lions. Maybe there was a knock-on. He just has a strange way of signaling a knock-on, but I didn't see a knock-on. So that's something to have a look at after the game.
Something that maybe would have come is from when the jump was contested, that he's saying even it's the man who's knocked it on, and so that's why there's a scrum. Because clearly there's no knock-on from Bongi Mbonambi. The key is now South Africa, like you said, the British and Irish Lions are 2 minutes away from halftime. They're 4 points up, and they've got a 5-meter scrum. You almost think that barring incredible South African work at the back here, there's almost a try guaranteed here. But as men who are wearing green and gold today, we don't want that to happen.
All right, so here we go. The scrum is set. The Lions put the ball in. It goes quickly out, and the eighth man is immediately tackled by Kobus Reinach. Good defense here by the Springboks. Itoje also tackled back, and they are still they are now 7 meters out from the Springbok try line. The pick and go from the Lions halted by the Springboks. They are defending with their lives here with 1 minute now to go in the first half. 10 points to the Lions, 6 to the Springboks. The Lions have now reached the 5 meter mark. The Springboks are trying to get the ball back, but the Lions firmly in control. Pick and go again, running across the face of the defense and then going forward. The scrum half has the ball now. He's doubling around and trying to go back into the traffic, but it's not working for the Lions, and the Springboks get the penalty. The Springboks have defended their line, and surely now the Springboks just need to keep this up, get out of their half, and get into the halftime shed and reset and repeat the second half of last week. Siya Kolisi visibly relieved, and so are all the South African fans, me included. So that will be
there,
right under their own poles. The Springboks get the penalty. Handré Pollard will probably tap and send this one over the line. Are they going to go for the line out? I don't think so.
We just have to see what Mathieu Renault says. But the hard work there, like you said, was done by Siamthanda Kolisi, because there was a pass from Ali Price to try and find Mario Toja and an offload, but immediately he was swarmed by 3 Springbok forwards, and one of them being the captain himself, Siamthanda Kolisi, who was able to snipe in there and steal it. He had Bongi Manambi and support, who were both of them were doing well, but line out here late for the Springboks.
Okay, so that is half time. The referee somehow allowed the Springboks to kick the penalty over the line and then end the half. So let's hope the referee doesn't make that mistake at the end of the game.
Surely not. Surely not Courtney Laws. He's gone round the side there. Surely not. 2 meters, or not even a meter inside, and the maul has collapsed. The referee saying, "Hold on, lads." I mean, Otto, did I miss something?
Okay, so they did.
Courtney Laws going around? Surely
okay, so they did play the line out. Sorry about that. Okay,
yes.
So they did play the line out. So the Springboks trying to get something here before the end of the half. Apologies for that. I thought they were running to the tunnel, but they were actually running to the place where they were going to take the line out. So apologies for that. Yes, indeed. See
if we can listen in here.
It was a line out by the Springboks, and the British and Irish Lions putting some heat on the Springboks there, and we'll see what the TMO has to say about this. So the Springboks...
I'm going to check Courtney Laws. So I was remonstrating about the fact that Courtney Laws has gone around the outside, and he's done exactly that, and he's held up Kobus Reinach unnecessarily, and I think there's going to be a question here about that, because in that maul, Otto, there's nothing clear according to Mathieu Renault. There's some progress.
Okay, so many apologies to our listeners. Okay, all right, let's see.
Whether it's Mario Toja or Jasper Wiese, let's see if we can listen in.
Okay, so we're waiting to hear who's going to get the penalty. We cannot play the audio for you listening here for us. And we see here that Jasper Wiese is going into the clean out. Going into the clean out, that looks okay to me, although not properly through the gate there, just dumping himself in there. So that might be a problem for Wiese. And then we'll see if they have a look at anything before that. Yeah. So Jasper Wiese might give the Lions the penalty here.
So they're just going to look at 2 more angles just to make sure that they see on. I mean, from that angle, it looks like he's coming in through the middle, and Tag Furlong, the prop from the British Irish line, is actually sideways. I mean, he's perpendicular to the Springboks. If you look here,
yeah, he needs to get cleaned out there, but Jasper needs to come in from the other from the back of through the gate, as they say. He needs to be in line with the touchline. He's coming in
Mm.
about a 45
30
degree
degree.
angle, coming
Yeah.
into the near side touchline there. So he might be in trouble here. Otherwise, that would have been a good clean out. He used his arms. He went in on the body. And so we're getting a message here from
No
the
foul play.
producer, which we will confirm in a minute. Producer is calling a yellow card here for Jasper Visser. And nothing. Jasper, you lucky bliksem. You lucky devil. Okay, so there we go. At last, it is
Absolutely.
half time.
Absolutely. So Springboks dominating the first little bit, but British and Irish Lions coming back hard here at the end of the first half. 2 penalties from Andre Pollard. There's just 4 points between the two of them, but the second half is going to be key. So when we come back, we will bring you the second half. Wonderful bit of work there by the Springboks to hold back. When the British and Irish Lions were on the try line, but we're excited to bring you the second half in a moment. Don't go away. We'll be back with you at the second half.
In the halftime break, the podcast, Full Quota podcast with Proteas physio Craig Govender. Thank you very much for listening. See you in the second half.
Today, we've got a very lovely show for you and a podcast for you. Remember, most importantly, before we get going, you can interact with us on all these various platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, as well as on YouTube. The most important one is YouTube. Can you please like and subscribe? That's where you can see our lovely faces. Most of the other platforms, you don't see our lovely faces. And Tim's got some very nice headphones going on there. So that's a very good thing to have as well. But before we carry on with today's show, got a really, really great guest for you. Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. So looking forward to introducing our new guest for this week's show, but all good. And yeah,
have you been watching the British and Irish Lions tour?
I have. I know we've been doing a lot of good work there on the commentary side. It's certainly been a spicy series.
It is, and the spicy series continues on Saturday on One World Sports Radio with digital commentary. You can watch along with us on YouTube and send us your comments. The third test on the 7th of August. It is the decider, and I'm excited for it, and I'm sure Tim is. But we're not talking rugby today. We are talking cricket, and we have a special guest, the Proteas men's team, the men's national team physio in Craig Govender. We're just going to bring him on for just a chat to see how he's doing, how he got into the game. There may be some budding physiotherapists who want to take over his job, so that would be very good. Not necessarily giving the tricks of the trade, but maybe giving some young physios a bit of inspiration, and maybe some guys who are young. We've got a lot of teenagers and a lot of guys in university who are looking for ways to get into cricket. They love the game, and maybe that's something that we could also do as well. But hi, Craig, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
How's it, guys? Thanks for having me. Cold Joburg at the moment, so got my heater next to me, keeping me warm.
Yeah, sure. It's not Ireland. My friends in Ireland tell me how
Wow.
scorching hot it was.
It's crazy. I don't think they had weather like that in their history, and we couldn't even get to the beach.
Oh,
I saw those Instagram videos.
No, it was torture. They were torturing us.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you enjoyed the castle that you guys stayed. That was beautiful. I love that. I was like, wow. Okay,
in Ireland,
the best that Ireland can provide.
Yeah, we stayed at in Malahide. We stayed at one of the golf links. I believe it's like 78th in the world in terms of golf courses. We couldn't get out, so But yeah, it was quite nice, and yeah.
That's good. So let's get started. So you've been the men's team physio for about 8 years. Let's start from the beginning, like your upbringing in the game. Were you always a cricket fan?
Yeah, I was always a cricket fan. I always wanted to be the Proteas physio. I guess at grade 10, I chose my profession. I love cricket. I wanted to be a physio, and I wanted to be the national team physio.
Did you play at all?
Yes, I
Growing
played
up.
quite a bit. Yeah, I played quite a bit. Um, Played a lot of club cricket in Durban. Played a lot of varsity cricket at UWC. Played about 6 varsity weeks. Was a budding leg spinner. Yeah, I still
Oh.
bowl a lot of spin in the nets. So love it.
I was gonna say, you got to the boys minutes.
Yes, I'm always there. I'm raring to go. I'm waiting for the spinners to get out the nets so I can get a chance.
That's amazing. That's a dream of
Yeah,
mine to actually bowl to the Proteas in the next. My only problem
yeah.
is I can't control my leg spin. So
No, not many can,
uh,
eh? Not the easiest
um,
art around.
no, it isn't. And then so obviously from grade 10, you say that you always wanted to be the Proteas physio. Was physio something that you've always wanted to do? How did you get into? How did you discover that? Because I don't think a lot of guys in grade 10 will be like, well, I want to be a physio. Normally it's like medical
Yeah,
doctor. Then at varsity
yeah,
they somehow find a way to be like, because I didn't like blood, so I would have probably landed
yeah.
up at physiotherapy somehow.
Yeah, I love the game. I went to the first game in Kingsmead after isolation in 1992, India versus South Africa. So the bug, but then watch the '92 World Cup, watch Alan Donald bowl that first delivery that was given out, saw it with my eyes, and I thought, yes, this game is. I really enjoy the game, and I needed to find a profession that could get me into the game. And while being a club cricketer, I went to a physio for an injury, and I thought maybe this could be it. Being involved, being involved in the game. Basically, how would I get there? Not being a cricketer or a different discipline. Yeah.
um, also, so can you go through your sort of your story? Because I know at one stage you were the national physio for the netball side, if I'm not mistaken. So just go through your story from the beginnings all the way up to the national side.
It was the volleyball team, the men's volleyball team. Uh,
Volleyball.
yeah, yeah. So in between that, we, as physios, we gotta. That's how guys get to the Olympics as well. I was just chatting to my wife about that, how to get to the Olympics, and the way you gotta go. You gotta do Africa games. You gotta do zonal games. You gotta do quite a long, a big amount of events through Africa. So I actually went with the national team to the Africa Games in Morocco, because I actually played volleyball as well at school. So yeah, just through giving in a CV and trying to get into sport. Don't necessarily get into sport easily. So you got to put in your CV in as many places as you can. Yeah. So
And then from volleyball to the Proteas, how did that job come about? Was it just like a, hey, are you available? Or was it like obviously your
no.
CV was there and they couldn't say no to you at that point in time because it knocked the door down?
No, obviously there was quite a long road. Everything I did was geared towards cricket and courses I did, and I did a master's. So I wrote a thesis on cricket injury prevention. So I was very very tunnel visioned and minded and all that stuff. I spent hours on the internet uh, researching. There was a famous researcher, Dr. Richard Stretch from Rhodes University and NNMU. And early on, I decided that he was going to be my master's supervisor. So he became my master's supervisor in 2006, and I went back to UWC to do my master's. And I remember applying for a job to go with the emerging team, the South African emerging team in 2006 when I got back to UWC, but didn't get it because I wasn't working with with names, of people involved in cricket of a higher level. And then I went back to my director of cricket at UWC, and I proposed this medical center and how I'm gonna create high performance at UWC, and he allowed me to do it. And by then I began creating high performance, doing testings and treating players whilst playing and while studying. And then when the masters was complete, I sent my CV to every franchise at the time, and I could have been anywhere in South Africa. And I remember he's now my physio mentor, Evan Speechley, who's based in Johannesburg. He was the box physio in '95. He's current Bangalore Royal Challengers physio. Has been India physio, and he kept my CV. And he called me one day when I was playing Nando's in Brackenfell, and he gave me this amazing call to come up to Johannesburg to shadow him for 4 days against the Titans in 2008. And I did. Then I went back home. And then he called me again in 2009 when we went to the IPL, and I did a month. And then I was then afforded an opportunity to go with the National Academy. Anton Ferreira gave me a call, and I went for my first National Academy gig. And in a place called Bodra in Bangladesh, then Abe Nosworthy, the coach of the Lions, asked me to be the first full-time physiotherapist in South African cricket. So the first, I was basically like a contracted player. So it was the first time a franchise employed a physio full-time. And that's in 2010, my dream came true.
And 10 years later, you have a fully fledged medical center, high performance center at the Wanderers. If you ever go, and if ever our fans go, you'll see it. It's incredible. I'm in awe of that. I think it's just a testament to your hard work. It's
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. And that was,
Yeah.
Sorry, Tim.
You can tell us about that center. Tell us about because I'm not somebody who's been there. I'm not somebody who's seen it. So I can't. So give us an idea of the center and what it entails.
So basically, it was born about because I was seeing young players at the Lions when the injury was too far gone, over a year old, and I was sat there in my office and I'm thinking, this is not right.
Welcome back to all of our Springbok fans who are joining us for the third and final test of the South Africa British Irish Lions series. 10-6 is rather where the scoreboard is. The British and Irish Lions narrowly ahead as we lead into the second half. Just to have a look at some of the comments that are coming in on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring the bell, because that's how you'll know exactly every time we go live. So we'll be bringing you all the Springbok and Proteas action every single little bit. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe and tweet us at OneWorldSR. Some comments. Johan van Sale saying, Clark, stop listening, boys. So big shout out to the Clark, stop listening, boys, for joining us for the third and final test. Jared Roy asking if it's halftime and then answering himself to say, yes, it is halftime. So yeah, we're just finishing out the last little check marks before we get going.
I made the same mistake. Sorry, man.
Ninka Jacobs saying, I hope the Bokke win. And Inga Trilov is saying, is there any way on YouTube we can watch the game, please? We'll watch our faces. We will bring you precise commentary of what's going on the park, because this is a game that you don't want to miss. Even if you don't have the right subscriptions, we got you covered. Remember, One World Sports Radio is your only go-to place when it comes to sports commentary. We bring you all the Proteas games, all the Springboks games. We bring you a couple of your domestic games, both in Super Rugby, Currie Cup, the Premier Soccer League, the English Premier League. So the key is, and Otto will definitely agree with me, ring the bell. subscribe and ring the bell so that you know exactly when we are going to go live, so that you can join us for every single moment of every single game. So don't disappear. Make sure you like us on Facebook and on we're also on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and all the good platforms. So you'll be able to follow either, One World Sports Radio or our partners at Guerrilla Cricket. So follow us all there. Andre Pollard kicks us off once again. He goes to the far side of the park. Springboks playing right to left as there's a collection just outside the 22 from the British and Irish Lions. Ali Price at the back of the ruck setting up. He's looking to find a forward partner. He does find the man himself, Tom Curry, who was guilty of some misdemeanor, but resolved that late in the first half. Box kick now inside the 22 from Ali Price is collected by Jasper Wiese. He juggles it, but thankfully in the end he's able to hang on to it. Kobus Ranach now, just over halfway, go the Springboks through Kitsov and Bongi Mbonambi. Malherbe looking to come to the near side of the park. It goes deep. Cross kick now by Andre Pollard. He's looking for Makazolo Mapimpi out wide. He's got support for Sia Khaleesi. It hits the British and Irish Lions play, and it's going to go out. And there'll be an opportunity for a line out. Not convincing have the Springboks been from the high ball, Otto. It's something that we excelled in last week, but this week has been inconsistent.
Yeah, the difference is Liam Williams. That guy is tall, he is aggressive, and he puts a lot of pressure on there. And we see a replay here, Makazolo Mapimpi going up for that high ball. Liam Williams
Adams,
nowhere near that one, but Adams knocking
guilty
it
of
on.
the knock-on.
Yeah. So thank you very much for listening wherever you are from, and we will bring you radio commentary, Gogglebox style, so you can watch us watching the game, but we're not allowed to play any of the visuals or audio from the live
Absolutely.
feed.
About 5 meters from the near side touchline, they're going to have a reset there. The South Africans were ever so slightly too eager there to get going. Ken Owen saying that, hold on, mate. I mean, I haven't even set, and then the Springboks are ready to smash at scrum time. So just an opportunity now for guys to get a bit of treatment. I think it's just because of the greasy underfoot conditions here, Otto. It's an important thing to mention the conditions, because it's something that the players will have struggled with in this this entire series. The underfoot conditions haven't been what you would expect from a South African winter test match. But bearing in mind, these 3 games ought to have been played in Cape Town, where that's perfect, perfectly normal for conditions to be quite wet underfoot in winter.
Yes, it's a winter rainfall area, Cape Town, and this field was quite wet last week with lots of rain. I'm not sure how much rain they've had this week, but it's still very, very difficult for the scrum forwards to get their get their toes into the ground, as they said in the press. So it's a football pitch, it's a football grass. So that means that the grass is set high. It doesn't have deep roots, as you would expect from a rugby pitch, as we see the scrum set again, and Kobus Reinach ready to throw it in.
Absolutely big push here from the Springboks. They want to get front foot ball here as Kobus Reinach gets the penalty for the Springboks. They take it quickly, but it's obviously the penalty will come forward. Massive smash there from the Springboks that absolutely hammered the British and Irish Lions, as we see Wyn Jones on the ground, a man who was supposed to play in the first test, didn't make a late fitness test after picking up an injury in training, and I wonder how much that's going to have to, or how much that's playing in the mind, because that was a massive scrum by the Springboks there.
He's grimacing. He's not looking comfortable. Vunipola is on, and Wyn Jones is off. So maybe that's just about the time that Warren Gatland would have replaced him, but he is not looking comfortable at all. But he gave his all. He gave the British and Irish Lions at least a good go of it in the scrums, but folding in there, and the Springboks have the line out inside the 22 of the British and Irish Lions on the near side. Another free kick by the referee off the line out.
Yeah, now he's going to call over the captains. It's been an issue where guys have been encroaching during the during the lineouts. The gap has not been there, so he's just calling over Wyn Jones and say, let's not discuss it. He's going to give 2 free kicks against both sides. That's what he's saying. He's making sure that it's fair. He's saying now it's going to be a penalty because I've spoken to the both of you. If it happens again, this is going to be a penalty because it's such a simple thing that you should be able to space accordingly. But the Springboks will no doubtedly, I'm sure they'll take a scrum here because right in the corner, they take the line out again, just to reset. But it's a good opportunity here for Springboks to get some forward momentum. Lutiache catches it from Bonge Munambi. It's an opportunity now once again for the Springboks to get forward momentum. They are doing that once again. Bonge Munambi at the back of the maul. There's good forward momentum here for the Springboks. There's an opportunity to get something going here. They've got to make sure that they make the most out of this. The ball is held up and it looks like it's fallen down, but the referee saying it's available to Kobus Reinach. He's got opportunity, players on his right as Jesper Wiese along with Steven Kitsoff collects the ball, but it was rather Franco Mostert the one who caught the ball. Reinach now throwing to his right-hand side. It bobbles out uncomfortably, but Eben Etzebeth makes some forward momentum for the Springboks. Reinach again finding a forward in Franco Mostert once again, but the ball now goes to Jasper Wiese. Breaks the initial tackle, but brought down by Alan Wyn Jones. They keep going to the far side of the park, looking to hammer the British and Irish Lions through a number of phases. Reinach now sending it back our way. Remember, the Springboks are playing from right to left, British and Irish Lions left to right. Bongi Mbanami is the one who takes the tackle. Dummy run there by Willie Leroux, but Kitsoff is pushed back as the South Africans try to get over that 22. Damien Dalenda with support from Loet de Jager get up to the 22-meter line. Near side, he switches and he goes to the far side. Good bit of work by Franco Mostert, but he's brought down in isolation. Covered there once again. A bit of a dummy run as Kobus Reinach finds Andre Pollard, who pops it out to Kobus Reinach once again. Sniping around the outside. He's brought down by Rob Henshaw with support from Lucanio Amanseo Kolisi. Ball now with Eben Etzebeth rather as he gets back over the 22. It's hard bit of work here for the Springboks to make sure they are retaining possession and not giving away. 9 phases here. Frans Mulherba is the recipient of the next bit of play there. Deep kick, cross kick, and it's charged down by the British and Irish Lions. It pops up, and it could be anybody's ball at this time, but it eventually goes out at about the 10-meter line. Dummy throw there by Makazolo Mapimpi, but probably not the right time to make the kick there. Andre Pollard had that kick chased down, and it could have been so much more for the Springboks after 10 phases.
Yeah, that's the type of play you expect on an advantage ball, trying something fancy, but the Springboks trying to hammer the Lions here, trying to hammer home the advantage, the slight bit of advantage they might have in the physical confrontations, as we saw the Springboks getting some ascendancy in the scrums and the mauls. So Eben Etzebeth here is down with ice on his shoulder as we have a break in play here. So this is a proper test match now. I mean, we are now, 35 minutes away?
5. Yeah.
5 minutes.
45 in, yeah.
Yeah, 5 minutes into the second half. Yes, let's have it.
Kwagga Smith looks like he's warming up. There's going to be a change here. I think Eben Etzebeth is going to be the man who makes way. There's some treatment there from the medic. But Adrian Boot, he's saying he's watching from Scotland. He's loving the commentary, and he is a Lions fan. So hopefully he can, pick up a win there from the stuff that we are seeing out on the park. Mahir Adams saying, anywhere we can watch the game, watch us. We will tell you every single thing that's going on in the game. And we just
it's a radio station.
Now there's some treatment to the players. Absolutely, we are One World Sports Radio, so definitely watch. You can see our mugs, and but just Otto, just to come back to the number of free kicks that we've seen because of the spacing. It's something that's such a basic error, and it shouldn't be something that should pop up in a test match, let alone between such big teams.
Yeah, as we see, Bongi and Benambi, so go.
He throws it to Loet de Jager, who immediately passes it on. Springboks now have a bit of a go-forward ball here. Seo Kolisi is robbed of the ball, but it was a knock-on there by Tom Curry, who is the guilty party. It's, whether it was a knock-on or he came illegally into that ruck, but Seo Kolisi got a little bit lucky there because he's not, he's not impenetrable. I think South Africa, 46 minutes gone. We're just having a look at Tom Curry here. He tackles him. with support from Bandi Aki, who doesn't go in with arms as well, which is a concern for me. And then it was not getting on his feet before trying to stealing Tom Curry, and that's why he's been penalized. So not supporting his own weight, and South Africa with the penalty kick, 39.6 meters, straight in front of the poles, Otto. So surely distance should be the only thing, with wind not being much of a factor here in this Cape Town stadium.
Andre Pollard is lining this one up, and it's about to be. Let's see. Oh no, he gets it wrong.
Yeah, it hits the poles and comes out. So South Africa having to do a bit of work here to try and get the ball back. Adams is the man on the ball near side of the park, just over the 22-meter line. Marco Vunipola finds the substitute in Finn Russell, who chucks it out wide to Bandi Aki, brought down by his teammate Damian Delende, who gets cleaned out by Duan van der Merwe. Alan Wynne-Jones is now the recipient of the ball. He's brought down about 10 meters outside of his own 22, but about 30 meters in from the far side of the park. Ali Price is looking for options. He does find an option in Bandi Aki, who's brought down once again by Damian Delende. These two clearly, obviously, as teammates, will make sure that they keep an eye on things. Ken Owens brought down as he received the ball. Ali Price looking for possibly a box kick here as he sets up. Everybody's switching play. He's going to go to the left boot there. Tried to block, does Loet Diache. He doesn't manage to get it, but swirling in the air. Jasper Wiese takes the catch, and looks like he's going to be bundled out of play just over the 10-meter line in the British and Irish Lions half. But a great catch there from him. He's struggled today with the high ball there.
Jasper Wiese this time making no mistake, coming down just inside the field of play and then just being helped over the line by the British and Irish Lions, but not a lot of distance on that kick by Price. So that's still inside the Lions' 10-meter line. They will set the line out now.
Yeah, hopefully they can sort it out. Ken Owens with the throw. Good bit of work there from Eben Etzebeth to try and steal it away. But Maul now and the British and Irish Lions are making their way past the 10-meter line. Good bit of work by the Springboks to put some pressure on them. Knocked backwards. Sorry, I spoke too soon. It's a knock on there by the Lions. I thought he just gotten away with it. We both Otto and I are Springbok fans, but we got to appreciate good rugby. In the end, it is knocked forward. The guilty party is the 8th man for the British and Irish Lions, Conan, and so they will have a scrum now with the South Africans. There's another conversation again between Siya Kolisi and Alan Wynne-Jones, as well as Mathieu Renaud, because there's been a couple of those minor incidences that they want to stamp out. Some might say, are they trying to micromanage the referee? Otto, what are your thoughts?
Well, you've got to be in the ear of the referee, because you never know when there's a crucial moment when you might be able to get that little bit of an advantage, and that's just part of playing Test rugby and by being a captain of a Test rugby team. So South Africa set the scrum now inside the 10-meter line of the Lions.
Absolutely. Sandra Griffiths is saying she's watching from Wales. Come on, the Lions. Massive scrum here by the Springboks. It's also lifted. So a great bit of work by the Springboks there from the scrum. They'll get the penalty again, and I'm sure they're going to go for another penalty and another scrum here. Marco Vunipola is the man who was he's just come on, and he's absolutely been smashed backwards there by Frans Malherbe. It's something, Otto, that the South Africans pride themselves on, and there's been a difficult go back and forth. But I said to you that the scrums are going to be key here, and especially in the second half of this game. South Africa yet to release their bomb squad.
It's also something that all 4 of the home nations pride themselves on, and none of these British and Irish Lions players are flukes. There's a very good reason why each one of them are here. So respect to them, but the Springboks need to smash them. And so we'll see a free kick here for the Springboks.
Yeah,
as the
good bit of work. No, go ahead, please.
No, as the British and Irish Lions just seemed a bit too eager on the engage, and the referee didn't like that. As I said, these French referees are extremely technical, and they, my dad used to say there's a right way, there's a wrong way, and there's a French way. So here we see it again, and then the Springboks have the free kick, the short arm penalty, and they take the option of the scrum to reset the scrum, because I think that is the right option. The Springboks are on the verge of breaking this Lions scrum. And we see Kobus Reinach putting the ball in, very static in the scrum. Kobus Reinach has to dig it out. He goes to Cheslin Colby as the first receiver out to Andre Pollard on the near side, almost making it to the 22, but he's tackled and he's got support there. Does he have enough support there? No, the Lions have turned it over. They're on their own 22. Itoje is tackled just outside his own 22, about 20 meters in. The ball goes slowly out to Liam Williams. He evades the first defender. Weak kick into the middle of the field. Cheslin Colby runs around to the far side. He's on the 10-meter line. One tackle broken. Second tackle smashes him absolutely. And this one by Kobus Reinach is flicked out to Willie Leroux at the first receiver. The Lions are there. The Springboks are not. Will they get the turnover? Yes, the Lions get the turnover penalty for holding on by Willie Leroux. 15 meters in from the far side touchline, just about 5 meters out from the Lions 10-meter line. So that is sweet relief for the British and Irish Lions, as the Springboks just fluffed that completely.
Absolutely.
Just too many over-eager. They're trying to do things in too the energy is bubbling over here from the Springboks, but we'll have a TMO as Cheslin Colby got smashed.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's a red card. That's a red card. That's a shoulder to the face of Cheslin Colby by the number 22 by Finn Russell.
Yeah, Cheslin Colby.
He did slip. He did slip, but there was no arms. There was no arms. We'll see in the replay here. Okay, no, he did try and wrap around.
But the problem is,
did use arms.
He's slipped, and so is it deliberate foul play? Is it? I don't know.
Well, Cheslin Colby is so short that really you have to be realistic. That has to be a yellow, maybe a penalty only. But I think Finn Russell lined him up.
Oh.
And we'll see what the TMO says. I would say that's just a penalty, just because of Cheslin Colby's size, and he was going down. He was trying to get his hands up, and
level
he
change,
was.
Yeah.
But I think even if Cheslin Colby stayed upright, Finn Russell would have still caught his neck. So, okay, no, he's quite at an angle there. Sure. Roles are reversed. Last week we saw that it's at least a penalty. The question is what if there's a card or not.
I don't think so. It's a penalty because of the dangerous tackle, nevertheless. But it's not intentional, and Cheslin Colby has slipped. So I think it'll just be a penalty here against 22. And South Africa don't lose that momentum. Johan van Zyl quickly saying that Adrian, and Sandra, that they they're going to need some good luck for the British and Irish Lions to beat the Springboks here. This is the third time that in the professional era that the British and Irish Lions have come to South Africa, and it's the third time that the Springboks have been world champions when they've arrived, both 97, 2009, and 2021. There's an explanation here to Alan Wynne-Jones about why that decision is going to happen. So there won't be a card, but there's going to be a penalty. So I think that's the only reason that the mitigating circumstance was the slip there. So an opportunity for the Springboks here to have a go ahead.
Yeah, so the shoe is on the other foot, and Cheslin Colby was lucky to get away with the yellow, and Finn Russell escaping there without a card. So game on. 10 points to 6. There are 27 minutes, just about 26 and 50 seconds to go, and the Springboks, they need to get up. They are 4 points behind, and let's see if Pollard can slot this penalty. Technically he didn't, because he smashed it into the pole at the wrong angle, and this one goes sailing low and straight, and
Nope.
Nope.
Shanked it again.
So another left of the left hand upright. So pulled it a bit. Yeah, shanked it. Terrible form here from Handré Pollard. Finn Russell kicks off behind his 22. This ball goes flying into the air, comes down just inside the half of the Springboks, where it's collected by Damien de Lende, taken up, and Reinach out to Itzebeth over the halfway line once again. And this one to Pollard. He tries the cross kick again. The ball comes down just outside the 10-meter line of the Lions. Dwan van der Merwe gets it there. They are on the far side touchline. They bring it infield. Now on the 15-meter line, just outside the 10-meter line. Finn Russell puts it onto the right foot, goes into the middle of the field, into the Springboks 22. Willie Leroux puts it onto the left foot, and the ball will sail over the touchline. The British and Irish Lions will have a line out inside the half of the Springboks. Just about on the 10-meter line, on the near side touchline, the Springboks playing from right to left. The score is still 10 to the Lions, 6 to the Springboks. And there are now changes coming, and there is 25 minutes left to play.
Yeah, Michael van Staden goes on the park.
Lions take the throw, and they send it into the midfield, where they are well met by the Springboks. They're outside the Springboks 10-meter line now, out to the far side of the field once again. Players running around, the ball going out the back there by the Lions. They're back onto their halfway line, and they are caught in possession by Lukhanyo Am on their 10-meter line. They managed to drive it forward a little bit. Lukhanyo Am couldn't get the ball there. Price is still the halfback for the Lions, sends it to the far side. They are just about 2 meters outside their 10-meter line, 17 meters in from the far side touchline. Price kicks it, box kick, going down onto the 10-meter line of the Springboks, and there's a lot of contesting for it, but Lukhanyo Am has it, and Willie Leroux comes away with it. He's got one man to beat, Cheslin Colby on his outside. He's got Liam Williams to beat. He beats him. He beats another tackler, and he scores! Cheslin Colby, you beauty!
Wow.
Fatua!
Yes.
Take
what
that.
a fantastic try there. Brilliant.
It's 11 points to 10. 11 points to 10. The Springboks take the lead, and 24 minutes to go. Cheslin Colby kisses his armbands. What a lovely try there. Just making hay when the sun shines. David,
Absolutely.
What do you think?
It was wonderful bit of setup there by Lukhanyo Am. He managed to get the offload to Willie Leroux, and the key was Cheslin Colby, the magic man, the one to, according to Squidge Rugby, he calls him a Scarlet's legend, but he's a Springbok first and foremost. He dummies one, dummies the second, and is able to cross the whitewash in the corner. Fantastic bit of work by the Springboks. It was a bit of bobble that set up that catch for Lukhanyo Am to do a bit of cleaning work. It was a South African contestation between Dwan van der Merwe and Jasper Wiese. It was a knock-on by Dwan van der Merwe and then Maro Toje, but thankfully Lukhanyo Am was there, and all too easy for the South African speedster. Try for South Africa. Yeah, so it's just having a look at whether or not there were any forward passes, or whether or not there was any, reasons for them not to award the try. He's very happy, is the referee, to award it, as my producer, Paul, just steps in for my colleague here. But Paul, what have you thought about this? Paul has also muted his mic.
There seemed to be a knock-on. Sorry,
go.
Dave. There seems to be a knock-on from Marco Janssen's hands at the initial breakdown. And because you haven't gone 2 phases, it's all in one phase. You can go back that far. They literally have gone back 60 meters. And we're still going to be looking at that, because if the ball does come off the hands of Marco Janssen, it means that it is Lions' ball in the South African half of the game. But Otto is back in Silverton. So I'll hand over to the two of you guys.
Beautiful.
I got I got my COVID shot the other day, and my excitement seems to have interfered with my 5G.
Yes,
So I apologize for that.
Missing this. So just a couple of comments while the referee has a look at what's going on. So Sandra's saying Johan van Zyl made the best team win. Johan van Zyl saying Panic Button saying, loving this. Who are you guys? Well, we are the team from One World Sports Radio. My name is Coach Dave. Alongside me is Otto Simon. And we are part of the commentary team for the rugby as well as cricket. So don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. You can see these faces and hear our voices every time, whether it's 1WSR.com. Tune in. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we are on YouTube. Like and subscribe, ding the bell so you know exactly when we're going to be with you. So we're on everywhere. And Johan van Zyl says, respect, Sandra made the best team win. And she says, well done, come on, you Lions. So the on-field decision, Otto, here, sorry, that's why there's a delay, is a try, but they're trying to see if the first contact from the contested ball between Jasper Wiese and Duan van der Merwe is indeed a knock forward. So we're just waiting to hear what Mathieu Renaud has to say. He's saying there's no clear evidence for the disallowing of the try. They're sticking with the on-field decision, and South Africa have a try. Alan Wynne-Jones is contesting it and having a word with the referee, but it's not something that we're interested in. Johan van Zyl saying bring Mornay Steyn on at fly half and Pollard moving to 12 come box. So he's hopefully gonna have to take over the job from Jacques Nienaber. Johan, make sure that you're able to pack your bags at any moment, because Nienaber, I'm sure, needs another assistant coach there. We all are coaches at some point.
How's that bumping the tackler off by Cheslin Colby? Look on your arm, got the ball. Willie Leroux then went forward and passed the ball to Cheslin Colby. He steps inside Liam Williams, and then he bumps off the British and Irish Lions hooker. Number 16, Luke Cowan-Dickey, just got deflected by Cheslin Colby, like, no, you're going that way, I'm going to the try line. Yes. Not a real bump off. And Pollard, thank goodness, found his kicking boots somewhere, and now 13 points to 10 to the Springboks. So we see here Cheslin Colby just fending off Luke Cowan-Dickey.
Not today, sir.
That guy just box above his weight all the time. So the kickoff goes to Damien Dalende. Inside the Springboks 22, the ball is down in the ruck now, about 10 meters in from the far side touchline as the Lions kicked off. Lucky there for the Springboks. And Kobus Reinach is at the back. He sends this one into the tram lines for the box kick. It comes down on the 10-meter line. It's knocked back. It's knocked forward by the Lions and then back by the Springboks. They're over the 10-meter line now. Kobus Reinach sends it to the near side. And Franco Moster takes it over the advantage line. Kobus Reinach out to Pollard. And he kicks this one to the far side of the field. And is that bouncing before it? That's Liam Williams. That's caught the mark there inside the 22. Good positional play by the Welsh back for the Lions, and he's going to send this one with his left foot high up into the air, giving his players chance to get underneath it. Pollard out to Cheslin Colby, sends it forward off the right foot, and it's knocked forward by the Lions player there, and that will be a scrum to the Springboks. Ali Price was in position there, good positional play by the scrum half there for the Lions, but that will be a scrum for the Springboks on the far side of the field, 6 meters in, and there will be 21 minutes to go, 21 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the game. The Springboks have 13 points, the Lions have 10. The Springboks will have the scrum, and Conor Murray is onto the field. Ali Price is off. He had a decent game, Ali Price. He put his team in front up until that brilliant effort by Cheslin Colby. How do you defend that? I mean, you've got three guys trying to tackle the smallest guy on the field, and you can't manage that. That's no coach can. You can't coach that, you know. So the Springboks very lucky with that call about the knock on. I thought it looked to me like Jasper Wies's contact there, but I remember the referee saying there was some fingertips from the line. So the referee has something to say about the scrums now as well. So the replacement forwards are in. Steven Kitsoff is still on the field at loose head for the Springboks. Malcolm Marx is on. Vincent Koch is on for the Springboks at tight head. And then for the Lions, they've got Vinipola on for the injured Wyn Jones. And they've got Sinclair and Vinipola and Cowan Dickey in the front row. So the scrum is set again. And it is just outside the 22 of the Lions. Kobus Ranach waiting for the scrum to stabilize. And it's a very static scrum once again. Both these teams, as the scrum goes down and the penalty goes to the Lions, the referee saying that the Springboks went down in that scrum. The loose head on this near side, Steven Kitsoff, penalized there for going down. He is apologizing to his teammates, and we see the Lions kicking this penalty to the far side touchline. Trevor Nyakane now warming up to replace Kitsoff. So we see a replay here. Steven Kitsoff's bind, and he just went down with the Lions prop, who went down onto his stomach. That's always difficult to say which way the wind blows there in the scrum penalties. But Trevor Nyakane is now on 13 points to 10 for the Springboks. 19 minutes now to go. We also have Simmons on for Conan at number 8. The Lions put this ball in on the 10-meter line of the Springboks. They go to the near side into the middle of the field. There's a big tackle by the Springboks. Conor Murray gets the ball out to his forwards. Over the 10-meter line they roll, and there's no turnover yet for the Springboks, but they get some contact behind the advantage line up to the 10-meter line on the near side of the field. Conor Murray goes to Itoje, goes to one of the other forwards. Conor Murray again to the far side, into the middle of the park, out to the back line. Finn Russell gets the attention there of the Springbok defenders. Once again, now the Lions trying to get into the noses of the Springboks, but the Springboks just walking away. Jasper Wiese has got a gash on his eye, and now the Lions will line up for poles with the penalty that they got from offside play. I think the Springbok defense there just getting out of the blocks too quickly, and they will have a shot at goal from the middle of the field, just inside the Springbok half there. So we see a replay here. I think that was just offside by the Springbok defenders coming up too quickly as the Lions try to work those backline moves, and this one is just inside the Lions half, actually. Lions playing from left to right, and it will be Finn Russell taking this kick to level the scores with 17 and a half minutes to play. Finn Russell strikes it now. It goes full and straight and over. And the Lions are level with the Springboks with 17 minutes to play. Alan Jones has been replaced and is shouting at his teammates from the sidelines. Finn Russell also shouting at his teammates. They know that they are very close to history, to being able to beat the Springboks, the world champions in South Africa. The ball from Andre Pollard's kickoff goes to the far side, 5 meters in from the far side touchline. Over the 22 go the Lions. They carry the ball up through one of their forwards now, Itoje at the back, and some other forwards there. And there is a penalty for the Springbok, for the Lions, as Etzebeth goes around to go and collect that ball, which was never out of the ruck. So Etzebeth trying his luck there, but not succeeding. Finn Russell takes the penalty on the far side of the field and sends it over the far side touchline And that will be a line out to the Lions on the Springbok 22. Herschel Yankees coming onto the field to replace Kobus Reinach. Coach Dave, are you with us?
I'm back once again. Uh, I think the
Back
key
once
here
again.
for both teams, back once again, as we see Count Dickey throw the ball to Itoje, he's brought down, but they are able to avoid the ruck or the Springboks. But now an opportunity for the British and Irish Lions to get go ahead. Conor Murray at the back of the ruck, but it was the British and Irish Lions through Maro Itoje that are guilty of not releasing, and Mathieu Renault, the French referee, saying Tom Curry is the guilty party there. He cannot do that, and it's a number of times that there's been incidences of these guys misbehaving. So there's going to be a bit of a hold up in play here. As there's another substitute. Andre Pollard is the man who makes way for Mornay Steyn. 2009, Otto. I don't know if you remember the second game where Mornay Steyn cleared the crossbar and threw the sticks to give South Africa the win. Will he be somebody who makes the difference here in 2021? He's one of the few that have lasted since that tour, as he kicks this ball upfield just over the 10-meter line of the British and Irish Lions. He last played a test for South Africa on the 8th of October 2016 when South Africa lost 57-15 to New Zealand in Durban. So definitely something for an opportunity here, a way for him to go forward. Line out ball going straight to Eben Etzebeth, and the South Africans are being hammered back here by the British and Irish Lions through the maul. The call of use it once has been given to Herschel Yankees as not letting go is Malcolm Marx, but I think the Springboks are under some pressure here as they originally had the go-ahead in that momentum, but it's the British and Irish Lions who are under pressure because there was some pushback from the British and Irish Lions, and then South Africa getting the second shove on. But in that, Mauro Itoje is the man who is known to be guilty for doing such things. So an there's a chance here early on for Mornay Steyn to make sure that he's gonna solidify his place in the history books here, because he's going for poles. As Frank Constant said, Mornay, big kick, Steyn, maybe some drop goals. We can only hope here. And South Africa have the forward momentum, Otto, you would say here. 42.5 meters on the angle, but they could go 3 points up here.
Yeah, in Pretoria, we call him Wifsien, head boy, Mornay Steyn. He lines this kick up from almost the same position as he did when he beat the Lions the last time. He's a cool customer.
Yeah, Jay from the K is asking, who's been dominating? Jay from the K, no one's been dominating. This is ebbed and flowed, and this one looks like it's going to be a good kick. Some flames go up, and the South Africans take the 3 points. They lead 16-13 in the 67th minute. Maro Itoje is having a word with his teammates, but it's not going to matter unless they're able to come back here. The game's by no means, Otto, it's by no means dead, because it's such a tight contest. Finn Russell kicks this deep into the Springbok half. It's about 20 meters inside from the touchline. Mornay Steyn collects and he thumps it upfield for the South Africans to get some go-ahead. There's a chip and chase here by Price, Adams rather, who's done that work. Mornay Steyn collects and gets over his 22-meter line. Vincent Koch is having to do a bit of clean-out work as the British and Irish Lions look like they've done a bit of turning over here. So South Africans are under pressure. They have turned it over. Conor Murray throws it to Cowan Dick, who finds Sinclair. They try to switch directions to the British and Irish Lions through Henshaw. He finds Duan van der Merwe. He cuts inside once, cuts inside twice. Massive tackle by Malcolm Marx as Conor Murray's having to do a bit of work here late in this game. 13 minutes remaining. Sinclair is on the ball. He's held up by some Springboks, but Conor Murray finds Russell, who is able to see Bundy Aki. Once again, finding Russell in that first receiver position. Henshaw is trying to find a way in between the Springboks. He's brought down by Eben Etzebeth. Conor Murray is looking to see how they can get some forward momentum here. They good bit of offload to Adams, who immediately gets hammered by Trevor Nyakane. There's a lot of work here by the Springboks. 6 phases, now the 7th, as Marco Vunipola, rather, Courtney Laws is brought down, and the British and Irish Lions have a penalty advantage here. Courtney Laws through to Sinclair, who's brought down in the middle of the park. Conor Murray goes right wide, but it's there's a hand down, and they're going to go back for the penalty. This is
fine lines, fine margins, fine margins. And as the Springboks went in there to try and contest the ball, the referee saying that they were too late to the ruck there. If you can give us some clarity on the referee's decision there. He's talking to the
South
TMO.
Africans that weren't rolling, they weren't rolling away there initially, but I think there's going to be a further decision. Yeah, it was the not rolling away by Eben Etzebeth, and then, or rather, Eben Etzebeth in the hand in there after the throw, but
no. So he's interfering with the scrum half there. Eben Etzebeth stepping over the ruck and getting in the way of Conor Murray's pass there with his hand. So a bit over eager there by the Springboks, and they're going to have to defend the line out on the 5 meter line on the far side of the field as the British and Irish Lions play from left to right. And it is 11 minutes to go. 16 to South Africa, 13 to the British and Irish Lions. They don't take the 3. Mark that point in the game. They don't take the 3. They go for the
Cowan
try.
Dickey goes and throws it. There's 2 South African jumpers, but they're able to get some forward momentum. They're on the 5 meter line of the Springboks here. There's men piling
Sack them all.
Conor Murray look for options left and right. He goes to the right. He finds Cowan Dickey, who gets hammered by Marco van Staden, but only some marginal forward momentum. The British and Irish Lions now within 3 meters. Marco Vunipola, who's come off from the bench, he gets over through some forward momentum. Get out the way. It looks like it's held short. There's going to be a 5 meter scrum for the British and Irish Lions.
I'm sorry.
There was a water woman who's like basically could have been a South African Springbok defender. Get out the way. This is not about you, but good bit of work there by Marco Vunipola. He got the ball, managed to crash over, but held up good. Well, even better work by the Springboks here as we see a 5 meter scrum, Otto, to take us through the final 10 minutes of this game, as Eben Etzebeth says, I need some treatment.
So he's on his back. Eben Etzebeth, we have a bit of a break in play now. 16 points to 13, the Springboks lead. The Lions had an opportunity there to level the scores, but they chose to go for the kill, which I think is just a sign of the spirit of these players. They have waited so long. They have been locked up. They have been in their own homes. They've been without crowds. They have been in every sort of weird situation that you never could have imagined, starting your career out as a player in the home nations and in the Springboks. And now there are 10 minutes left. The Springboks have 3 points in the lead. The Lions have a scrum on the 5 meter line of the Springboks. Bundy Aki and Finn Russell talking to each other. They look very calm. These guys are super experienced, and this is the pinnacle of their career. To be here in South Africa to play against the world champion Springboks, who now line up for this scrum, this is a real important moment in the match, because turning down that 3 points, that could be huge. For the Lions, and the Springboks need to defend, and they go into the scrum. The scrum goes down. The referee says both sides went down. It looked like the Springboks lost their footing there, so they're lucky to get away with that, I would think. We see a replay here, and we see the Lions folding in under the pressure, and then the Springboks just going down onto their bellies. The Springbok front row, so the scrum will be reset. and probably moved a little bit. The scrum is on the 5-meter line, about 25 meters in from the far side touchline, more like 10 meters from the left-hand upright as you look from the British and Irish Lions point of view, and the referee not happy with the stability there. These guys are fighting for dominance here in the set of the scrum. Both front rows
Nervy stuff
trying
here, Otto
to-
Simon. Nervy
Yeah, this is why they call test match rugby boring. You know, we've spent at least the better part of 3 or 4 minutes now on one scrum, so that's not good audience building for rugby. But they will set again. The Springboks need to defend. The British and Irish Lions just need to get this ball past the 8th man.
Come on.
And the 8th man is sitting on the left side of the scrum there.
Yes.
And then the penalty goes to the Springboks for a knee on the ground, says the referee. Sinclair put his knee on the ground. The referee says that's a penalty to the Springboks. Sure, that could have gone either way. Lucky there for the Springboks. Is Nyakane going to give the Maori salute again to the Lions? No, not this time. The Springboks aren't that far ahead yet. And Morne Steyn, Wolfsien, will punt this one, the head boy, to the far side of
They
the
freaking
field.
got out of jail.
They did indeed. They did indeed. And we see Sinclair's knee just going. Sinclair's knee just going down there as the pressure came on there. But the Springboks know that the margins are small.
Yeah.
These guys are quality players. This is a small win. This is not the end of the game yet. The line out for the Springboks is on the far side of the field. They go now to Etzebeth. It looks like they set the maul. And the maul goes forward a little bit and gets a second win. Now the Springboks are running with the maul now over the 10-meter line. They're being pushed to the far side touchline, but the maul resets now over the halfway line, and there's a tackle. A good clean out. Herschel Yankees has control of the ball just inside the Lions half, and there's a knock on by Yankees as the counter ruck came through from the Lions, but they keep on playing. The Lions bring the ball into the midfield, and over the halfway line go the Lions. Tackled on the 10-meter line of the Springboks. The Springboks trying to win the ball back, but the Lions are firmly in control, and it's a penalty to the Lions. The Springbok once again coming around and trying to fetch the ball from the back of that ruck, as they thought the ball was out, but the referee says it wasn't, and that is an offside penalty to the Lions. And just as lucky as the Springboks were, the Lions have another lucky escape here. They need to level the scores now. There were a few players, and Lucanio just going around, just over-eager. He was never on side. He was never after behind the line. There are 6 minutes left to play. It's 16 to South Africa, 13 to the British and Irish Lions, and Finn Russell is lining up this kick in the middle of the field, almost just between the halfway line and the 10-meter line of the Springboks. So relatively easy kick for the Scotsman. He comes forward now, and he strikes it, and he nails it. It's 16 points all in Cape Town. The British and Irish Lions and South Africa, 16 points all, 5 minutes left to play.
Oh my word! Oh my word! So there was a quick question there from Sandy asking if there's anybody on the Bok bench. There is only Damian Willemse that is not on the park just as yet. So with 5 minutes to go, we wonder if he'll come on the park as Morne Steyn restarts the game.
Yeah, he sends this one, comes down inside the 22 of the Lions, carried up by them, just 5 meters short, brought down. They've got the ruck here, setting the extended ruck here for Conor Murray to send the box kick up from inside his 22, and he does so now. The ball comes down just inside the half of the Springboks. Another up and under by the Springboks coming down just inside the 10-meter line of the Lions, tapped back, and they have an opportunity to spread it to the far side of the field. They come back inside and they are brought down inside the 10-meter line. Conor Murray sends it to Vunipola and he goes almost to the halfway line. Conor Murray on the 10-meter line to Liam Williams, who sends it straight down the field, putting pressure on the Springboks here. The ball is going to roll over the goal line. And no, there's a contest for the ball on the goal line, as Morné Steyn surely must have jotted that down. What does the referee say? He says it's a 22. So it looked like Morné Steyn neatly shepherded that ball into the goal area. So there's some contest by the Lions. Yeah, but for no reason. That ball was already over the line. A strong chase there by the Lions. But it will be, let's see a replay here. Yes, the ball definitely goes over the line. Morné Steyn fumbled it a bit, but it's sent out from the 22 kickoff as the slip is there from the Lions. They set up the ruck just outside their own 10-meter line. Liam Williams sends this one high up into the air, and it comes down just on the halfway line. It's collected by Marco van Staden for the Springboks. He's driven back, but the Springboks have the ball on the far side of the field, 20 meters in from the far side touchline. Knock-on advantage, and Herschel Jantjies sends this one from his own 10-meter line. It's going to come down just inside the 10-meter line of the Lions. Dalender collects that ball from a knock-on, and the Springboks are there in support. Herschel Jantjies wants the ball. Are the Lions going to concede another penalty here? Herschel Jantjies digging for that ball inside the ruck. He sends it out to the forwards in the middle of the park. There's a Lions player rolling out just about on the edge of the laws there. Herschel Jantjies has his hands on the ball. He's looking, where must I go? He goes to the near side and sets the ruck inside the 10-meter line of the Lions, and it goes to the far side, and another ruck set inside the 10-meter line of the Lions, more or less in the middle of the park. The Springboks have the penalty in the middle of the park. They have the penalty advantage. They haven't heard the whistle. They're still playing over the 22-meter line. Go, Willie Leroux, but tackle made there, and the referee has already called the penalty. So that will be a chance with 2 minutes to play for the Springboks to take the lead. And here comes Damian Willemse. And now Conor Murray is arguing with the referee.
He's there's obviously a bit of tension here late in the game. Otto Willie Leroux jumps onto, well, he'll go onto the bench, and Willemse will take his place. But Siya Kolisi is saying to Conor Murray, go away. The referee's already had one or two discussions, and then Conor Murray pushes Siya Kolisi. So Siya Kolisi's, going to say, but I mean, what is that for? There's no need for it. And Vunipola tries to get stuck in there, but there's not much pushing and shoving. There's just a bit of hey. If you remember those crabs from Finding Nemo, that's exactly what you can imagine.
Who's going to bring the potatoes for the braai later? So once again, it's going to be Morné Steyn, I think. And this one is right in the middle of the field. It's going to be inside the 10-meter line of the Lions. That kick at Loftus was wide out. It was a very difficult kick. This one is right in the middle of the field. It's exactly 11 meters. It's 12 meters out from the Lions 22. Morné Steyn sets himself. He's looking at the poles. He looks down at the ball. He comes forward now and he strikes it, and it goes straight and true through the middle of the poles. And the Springboks have 19 points. The Lions have 16 points. There's 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go for the Springboks to defend this lead of 3 points.
And they'll have the ball. Hold it up for a minute and kick it out.
Van Russell from the middle kicks it out to the near side touchline. Very short to try and get the possession for the Lions. Itoja has it inside the 10-meter line of the Springboks. Conor Murray sends it out behind the 10-meter line. They go over the 10-meter line now. Conor Murray to the near side. Van Russell out to the forwards. They back onto the halfway line almost. Conor Murray sends it out to the middle once again. asking for the ball there.
Khaleesi,
Are the Lions
fighting for the ball.
Siya Kolisi goes in, fighting for the ball. There's a call by the referee that the ball was taken in by the Lions, and it's a scrum to the British and Irish Lions in the middle of the field, inside the Springbok half.
Oh my goodness.
They have one last chance. The time is up now.
They've held the clock.
The time
They've
is
held the clock
stopped
with 1 second.
with 1 second to go. All right, so here we go. The last scrum of the match, no doubt.
They've got to go.
Definitely.
They've got to go for the points here. They can't kick. They have to. The British and Irish Lions are going to go. They're going to have to go for the try, because if they don't, a drawn series is not what anybody wants. And I think we're going to see a massive scrum here from both sides. Oh, you almost can't look. You've got to defend. This is nail biting stuff, and at this rate, we might not have any fingers left. Oh my word! This is a massive scrum here. This is for all the marbles, all the peanuts, all the effort.
This is for keeps. This is for the next 12 years. The next time the British and Irish Lions will be here will be in 2033. I will be 53 years old, and I'm feeling 65 at least after these 80 minutes. So the scrum is about 30 meters in from the near side touchline, about 5 meters over the 10-meter line of the Springboks. The Lions have the put in on the far side. They set the scrum and they go in to contact now. The scrum is static. It goes down, and there's a penalty to the Springboks. They've got it. They've done it. Where's that cigar? I've got my cigar.
What on?
The Springboks are jumping around for joy. The referee gave the scrum penalty to the Springboks. Time is up. They will tap and kick this over. This time, there's not going to be a line out that I'm going to fluff at the end of the game. So light him if you got him.
Oh my word! Fantastic bit of work there from the Springbok pack. It was.
Oh yeah!
The only thing that you needed from them. And Conor Murray is now arguing with Mathieu Renault, and because of the distance from the... Oh my word, I'm speechless. Otto Simon. The Springboks have won it. They've done it from 1-0 down. They did it in the Rugby World Cup. They lost the first game to the British, to the New Zealanders. They went on to win it. They've gone from being 1-0 down to winning it here by the barest of margins. To quote Ian Smith, who used it in the 2019 Cricket World Cup, the barest of margins. South Africa have won it here. They retain this little trophy between these two teams. Morné Steyn is the man who does it again. Otto Simon. Yes.
My word. My heerlijkheid. This is amazing. This is a team that is up for the big moments, and they cannot believe that they've done it. I can't believe that they've done it. And once again, just thank you to the British and Irish Lions for being here in the first place. This Bok team will go down in history as one of, if not the greatest. No, they are the greatest of all time. I mean, nobody gave us a chance in 2019. Everybody thought that we were ripe for the picking. The British and Irish Lions were cock-a-hoop coming down here. Siya Kolisi is beside himself with joy. He's injuring all his teammates, jumping around and hugging them. You know, this is just unbelievable. And can we get that Guijo song, please? Let's go.
I'll get it for you guys, but what great commentary from the two of you. South Africa winning 19-16. Yeah, nobody thought we'd actually win this because we haven't played international rugby. Georgia was the first game we actually played since the World Cup. And that was like 18 months after we won the World Cup. But the Springboks somehow pull it through. And it is Hoofsien. I didn't want him in there. Rassie always... Anybody
could have kicked that kick, man. It was just somehow they thought it would be nice. I don't know. But yeah, we've got the win. British and Irish Lions, see you in 2033. Thank you for coming. Welcome to Cape Town. Now please leave.
No, but thank you very much, gents. Thank you very much for to all our viewers and all our listeners. Please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The commentators for today's day game were Otto Simon, who's in the middle, and Dave Midgley. Really, really top class commentators. We are One World Sports Radio. We cover all South African national team sports, cricket, rugby, whichever one you want to do, we do as well. So that's essentially our pitch here from One World Sports Radio. I'm trying to find the Guijo. I've lost it now, but
see you home.
I will play this one.
It's the first time since 2001 a team has come back from 1-0 down to beat the British and Irish Lions. 2 decades. But like I said at the top of the broadcast, 111 years since South Africa were last 1-0 down in a series, and they have come back here. So thank you from myself and all the One World Sports Radio commentating team.
Yeah, and once again, thank you to all the listeners. Thank you to the British and Irish Lions for sticking it out. Thank you for Cape Town. Thank you for everybody in South Africa who made this work. This has been amazing. At one point, we thought it might be called off. It was just unforgettable. 2019, 2021, let's go. We're ready for them in 2033.
Yes, that is very much. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, everyone. Remember, like and subscribe, and that will be the end of our broadcast. And yeah, till 2033, well, till we see you in the Rugby Championship and probably the Sri Lanka series with the Proteas men's team. But until then, have a great night, goodbye, and enjoy the victory. Braai, drink as much as you want, because this is something you only get in every 12 years.
Bye-bye.